Welcome to the History Veteran UK. Pretty much does what it says on the tin. So welcome. I haven't posted a video now for at least a week and a bit. The birth of my first grandson got in the way. So far mum and baby are doing fine. Not sure about the old man. So this video today is going to be part of, I think, at least sort of 5 parts to this video, which will come, over a certain amount of days. But I'm going to start to talk about Frontline Britain, and that is specifically for the areas between Capel, Ferne, which is just east of Folkestone, to the east side of Dover, as far down as St Margarets Bay, which is about halfway between Dover and Deal. And today, if you can see over my shoulder there, I'm at the Battle of Britain Memorial in Capel, Ferne. And here it remembers those airmen that fought during the Battle of Britain in 1940, and there's some plaques there and some aircraft in the distance. We got a Spitfire, Hurricane, and a Stuka bomber, which is someone will correct me if I'm wrong, Ju-88, but I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong. And it's being pointed into the ground. You can probably just see the tailplane in the distance there. So the reason I'm here today actually is to talk about Capel Battery, which was manned by the 520th Coastal Regiment, Royal Artillery, and they were raised in 1940 and eventually disbanded after the regimental headquarters and 428 battery, who were actually on this site, were put into suspended animation in 1946, but they were disbanded completely in 1947. And when they were set up in 1940, there was a lot of young men there, but eventually as the war progressed, so into 41, because these guns weren't really sort of put in place till sort of 41, 42, although some were put in 1940. A lot of those men were replaced by older men that served in the First World War, and those that couldn't go on active service overseas during the Second World War. So they became, a little bit older. A territorial regiment they were as well. So the 3 gun emplacements that were here, one is now owned by a father and son, I believe, and I've actually asked them if they would like to do an interview about the site there. But the hump of grass behind me, or mound, and the one there, is where the number 2 and number 3 gun emplacements were. And they each had 1, 2 and 3 here at Capel Battery. Mark 7, 8-inch Mark 7 guns that had a range of about 17 miles, 20 odd kilometres, 25 kilometres is that, but 17 miles. It's very blustery up here as well. So, as I said, they were manned by 428 Battery, 520th Coastal Regiment. And there were 4 battery locations that regiment served. And they were here at Capel. The next one down is Lid and Spout, which will be video 2. Then Hutham Battery, which will be video 3, obviously. And the one I'm dreading most, which is the Citadel Battery. Now, only this battery and the Hutham Battery had 8-inch guns. Lid and Spout had 6-inch guns and was a replica almost of Fan Bay, which is on the east side of Dover, and we'll get to that eventually. But Capel Battery, that was armed with 9.2-inch naval guns. But when I get up there, that'll be video 4, I think, or part 4 of this video, you'll be able to see why it was necessary to build these other batteries, because that battery in particular, Citadel, was built in the late 19th century, early 20th century. So it would have been there before the First World War. But as weapons and technology progressed, it became necessary to build these batteries. So I think it's the 520. It is definitely 520, but how you pronounce that, because it's like Royal Marines. You don't call 42 Commando 42 Commando, do you? That's out of spot of mitty. So they so 520th manned the west side of Dover. As I said, Capel, Capel, Lyddon, Spout, Huffham, and the Citadel. But they also had a battery at St Martin's Battery. I think that was 414 battery. And although part of the St Martin's Battery, which we'll come to eventually, was part of the Western Heights defences. So as I said, 520 had the western side of Dover, 540 the eastern side, and 519 battery with the rest. 519 regiment, coastal regiment, had the remainder. And as we move through those, we'll talk about those in more detail. Now, sadly, there's not much to see here because, as I said, number 1 gun emplacement is behind a fence, and I can't get to that. And the 2 mounds here are where number 2 and number 3 placements were. And most of the site of Capel Battery, so the accommodation was quite a big camp, lots of buildings, has been taken over by the Battle of Britain Memorial Ground, which is here atop the cliffs. So I'll move around a bit. So we're just above what is known as, and it's gone right out of my head, the Warren, which is just to the east of Folkestone. Warren actually was used by a lot of families after World War II that needed accommodation, and it became pretty much a shanty camp. It is blustery up here, but I'll just turn the camera around. So there you can see where we are. That's Folkestone in the distance with the harbour arm. And I'll just check something. Yeah, that's fine. So with the harbour arm, and this area of land down here, that is the Warren. And the railway actually runs through there to Dover. That's the one. You can see a Martello Tower there on the high ground. On the this is Wear Bay, Wear Bay, and you can see the Folkestone Harbour arm there. Okay, quite a lot goes on down there now. Got a picture screen and all sorts. So yeah, so that's where we are. That's like I say, there isn't a lot to see here nowadays, and all of the ground that's been taken up by the Battle of Britain Memorial was part of this battery, Capel Battery. So that's part 1. Now, if I come across any more information about this, I think there was about 150 men based here, and each regiment had to be formed of 3 batteries. Now, whether that's changed or not, I wasn't in the artillery, so if that's changed, then I'm sure someone will tell me. But for now, that's part 1, Frontline Britain, Capel Battery. Next time we'll see a bit more evidence of the batteries, okay? So until then, take care. It would have been very rude of me to have left this video without at least coming down into a bit further to show you the memorial wall for those of you that haven't been here, and the statue that is in the middle with an airman sat looking out to sea. Okay, so until the next time, stay safe.